listening to Frey. Starting right now. Here's your host Alfredo Leon.
Dak Ella, and this is indeed Fred. Let's begin with the Subway Series occurring over earlier in the week as the New York Yankees defeated the New York Mets by sweeping 4 games against them as the Mets were swept in the Subway Series, and it was only for the second time in franchise history. The last time that happened was in 2003, and back then they were playing at Shea Stadium, and the Yankees were playing at the old Yankee Stadium, respectively. The series was close with the Mets not being down by more than 2 runs in the 4 games. And the series was also close by run differential, as the Mets had a chance to possibly win all 4 games. Instead, they lost all 4 games. But still, the Mets could not win a game. Here is Mets pitcher Steven Matz, who lost the game on Thursday. "It sucks to lose," said Matz to Mike Puma of the New York Post after the game. "The Yankees have improved to 66 and 46 against their crosstown rivals, and they've won or split 18 of the 22 series against the Mets since the Interleague began in 1997. In 2017, though, the 4-game set that lasted from Monday to Thursday represented the only games the two clubs would play against each other this year. The last time the Bombers swept the Amazes was in 2003, in which the Yankees won all 6 meetings and outscored the Mets 39-19. Curtis Granderson did his part, though, to try to help the Mets win on Thursday by hitting a 3-run home run off of Brian Mitchell. That cut the lead to 7-5, but the rally was cut short by Della Matanzas, who retired the next 3 batters to collect the save. This just shows how good the Yankees have been lately, despite the fact that they lost last night to the Red Sox. That's another story, though, because of the fact that how good the Red Sox have been and the Yankees struggle against it. It shows how bad the Mets have been all year. Like, they have one of the worst ERAs in the National League. Actually, I think they're last in baseball in ERA, despite the fact that all the expectations this year were that they were supposed to go to the World Series. They were supposed to do this, do that. They're supposed to have one of the best pitchers in baseball. They've had so many injuries, losing Matt Harvey, lost Steven Matz, who hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his career. Zach Wheeler missed some time. A lot of guys were out. Noah Syndergaard has been out for a while, the last 3 months or so, with a lat injury. Jose Reyes just recently went on the DL. They've had a lot of injuries. Of course, they've traded away Jay Bruce, traded away Addison Reed. They've traded away a lot of guys with the roster. They traded away Lucas Duda. And they're scheduled to possibly trade Curtis Granderson and Asdrubal Cabrera as well, just because of how bad the team has been this year. With their pitching is the reason why it hasn't been the Mets season that was expected. But the thing is, even with injuries to Yoenis Cespedes, and he's had very little production this year in the amount of games played. He has almost the same number of RBIs as Travis d'Arnaud, and Travis d'Arnaud is no Yoenis Cespedes, respectively. But the Mets just haven't been that good this year, and they just struggle mightily against the Yankees. Despite the fact they had a chance to win, it just shows that this has not been the year for the Mets, as they've had so many injuries, and that's caught up to them to this point of the season. They also lost their closer, Jerry Familiar, earlier in the season, and they haven't had him back since. But he's on the rehab assignment now, I believe, and he's scheduled to come back soon, which is going to help them then. But there's really no rush to bring back Familia because of the fact that the Mets season is pretty much lost at this point. And they even acquired A.J. Robles despite trading away Addison Reed. But they acquired A.J. Robles knowing that they were going to trade away Addison Reed to a contender. Why would they acquire A.J. Robles? They needed a closer so they could close the team, close the game prior to Familia coming back there. But for the Yankees side, this is good for them, as they've been rolling lately, especially with all the home runs by Gary Sanchez. He's been on a hot streak lately. He's had 5 home runs in his last 10 games or so. Even though last night he also had a home run in Boston. It shows the dominance he's had there against the Red Sox. Shows how good Sanchez has been. Even though Judge has struggled lately, he had a couple home runs in this series against the Mets. One at Yankee Stadium and the other one at Citi Field. Despite all the struggles he's had this year, he's been hitting home runs there as well. The Yankees have been having good, but the thing is, though, they've had to deal with a little bit of injuries as well lately with Masahiro Tanaka and CC Sabathia recently coming on the DL. Sabathia should be coming back tonight against the Red Sox in Game 2 of that series. But Tanaka, he's been out, but he should be coming back soon as well. He had a bullpen session recently, which he threw 47 pitches, so he should be coming back there soon as well. But the thing is with the Yankees, though, they've had a better pitching lately. Sonny Gray did well in this series against the Mets with his first Yankee win after not winning in his first 3 starts or so there. But he's done well lately with that series. But the thing is, Jaime Garcia, he did not win a game in that series, but the Yankees were able to hold on and win, though. The Yankees were able to come back a couple times against the Mets. When the Mets looked like they had the lead and they looked like they were going to win, the Yankees were able to hold on and get the win there in those games. It just shows like how good the Yankees have been lately and just how bad the Mets are. This was something the doctor ordered for the Yankees as he needed to get back on the stride after get off the schneid, especially what happened against the Red Sox, losing 2 out of 3 against them at home, even though they lost again to them last night. Just shows how bad of a matchup has been lately with the Red Sox, despite the fact that they've won most of the games against them this year, despite it was a good matchup. But the Red Sox have been too hot lately. The Yankees have been too cold. And pretty much that division, if they continue to lose more games against the Red Sox, it could be over. And the Yankees may not be able to come back from that. But the Mets, though, they've just been having a lot of injuries. And that's kind of hurt them this year. And that's probably why they're going to end up trading guys like Curtis Granderson and Aljulo Carrera, bring up more younger players to be able to play alongside Amed Rosario and Dominic Smith, so they could be able to have more of a youth movement. But they should be back though next year though. The Mets, if their pitching stays healthy, when they get Harvey and Syndergaard and Wheeler and Matz to stay healthy, then they got a chance to possibly do something. Well, San Lugo obviously was on the DL as well, and he's had a good year despite having a late start to the season with an injury. But he's done well, and the Mets have 14-2 or something like that in his starts, so he's been a big part of what they've done in their rotation as well, because of the fact that the Mets haven't had a lot of injuries this year. Even Robert Gonzalez spent time with the DL, and he hasn't been that good this year despite what he did last year when the Mets had injuries to their rotation there with Harvey and Wheeler. And he had a good year last year, but he struggled a bit this year though. But at least he's back though. The Mets just need to try to stay healthy if they want to compete for championships in the future. As that's not going to happen this year, especially with the division pretty much gone, with the Nationals like dominating this year. Even though they had an injury to Bryce Harper, where he hurt his ankle, but he went on the DL. But he's going to be okay though. But the thing is though, the Mets just had a tough year, like I said, and hopefully for them they get better next year. But the Yankees this year they're trying to get back from some of their injuries. They had Clint Frazier on the DL. They try to get him back. Greg Bird should be coming back soon. He was on he's doing a couple rehab games. He had a good game last night though. I think he had a home run or so in that game. The Yankees need him to come back, especially when they try to catch the Red Sox in the division. That's a big matchup there if they want to be able to win the division there, as they're currently facing the Red Sox in the series this weekend at Fenway Park, to see if they could come back and win in that series. But this was a good series for the Yankees to try to stay above 500 and try to stay in the wild card race as they tried to make the playoffs after not making it in 2016, so they can have a chance to win a championship. I don't know if they're going to win a championship despite what they did against the Mets. It's just confidence boosted so they could try to take 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. That's all they could do at this point after they lost to them last night. So this is a big series that they want to have a chance to win the division. The Mets, though, they're playing the Marlins, but that's not really going to matter as they're not going to go to the playoffs anyway. What they're trying to do is just have more pride and have more confidence going to next year. But they should have that anyway if they stay healthy with all their pitching. David Wright, he's missed the whole year pretty much. He may come back or he may not come back. We're not sure. But we'll see how his rehab goes and everything like that when that does come. But maybe he'll be back next year, though. He should be back next year. And to help the Mets try to compete, as the Mets try to deal with all these injuries and try to come back, as that's major reason why they struggle all year. And that was no difference against the Yankees in the 4-game Subway Series. That's pretty crazy, that fact that the Mets haven't been swept in a Subway Series since 2003. That's crazy how long it's been since that happened. It shows how these two teams are, even though they're rivals, obviously, it just shows how competitive the two teams are, as these games are pretty close as well. There hasn't been that many sweeps in the series. As I said, the Yankees swept the Mets in 2003. The Mets swept the Yankees in 2013. But that was the first year when they had the 4-game set after the Houston Astros moved to the American League, which made it 15 teams in each league, which is why when you play your rivals, it's the 2 home series, where it's the 2 games at your place or their place, vice versa. And that was the only time the Mets swept the Yankees in the Subway Series era, and that was the 4-game set in 2013. It just shows how competitive these two teams are and how much pride they have for the city to try to be able to win in that Subway Series. It's a big series every year when they play each other, no matter how the teams are doing. It just shows, to see who has the pride to be able to compete in the city, to try to be able to compete with each other to try to win. As that's always a big series, as it's always drawing a lot of crowds, even when, let's say, the Mets haven't been that good this year, so they still will be able to get a crowd at Citi Field because it's because it's the crosstown rivals of the Yankees. So every year that's a big series, whatever the two play each other, regardless of how the teams are doing there. But let's see what happens though with the Mets and Yankees moving forward to see if they could be able to improve their team. The Yankees, they should be good if they could just keep up what they're doing against the Red Sox. And with the Mets, though, the whole thing for them is just for their pitchers to stay healthy, and so they can be able to compete for championships. And the Yankees this year just try to get some of their key pieces back, like Starter Castro and Greg Bird, like I said, so they could have a chance to be able to compete and make the playoffs this year. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Peace out.